Everything you need to know about Dan Bilzerian. 33-year-old high-stakes poker player, venture capitalist, risk-taker, recent actor, and undoubted Playboy King with a net worth of a staggering $100 million, it's easy to see why everyone is talking about and infatuated with Dan Bilzerian. He's an icon, a force to be reckoned with, and definitely someone that should be respected. Rivers of money, sizzling hot women, once-in-a-lifetime parties, gold-plated guns, fast Italian racing cars that would leave any man drooling over the pavement are what surround the bearded Dan. No wonder why he's Instagram's most interesting man. He's the self-proclaimed Bill Gates of poker playing and having won over an astonishing $50 million through poker playing alone. And with a notable win of $10.8 million in a single night, it's no doubt that he truly is the Bill Gates of poker. However, for Dan, it's not about the money or the cars. He says it's all about the freedom and being able to do whatever it is you want to do. He was arrested in his senior year for having a machine gun in his car on school property. Always for the love of the guns, isn't it, Dan? He owns 97 guns and has a loaded gun on display in every room of his mansion in Hollywood Hills that he leases for $35,000 a month from Nijit Loing Wong, that happens to be one of Singapore's richest men. He was enlisted in the Navy for 4 years, where he spent 510 days going through grueling Navy SEAL training, but a few weeks before graduation, he got kicked out of the program after having a dispute with one of his administration officers, which led him to be honorably discharged. He then enrolled in the University of Florida, where he majored in business and criminology. He has had 2 heart attacks before the age of 30, and it's no surprise why he lives his life the fullest and seizes every moment. After 5 days of partying, snowboarding, gambling, crazy sex, sleep deprivation, consumption of cocaine, and the introduction of 200 milligrams of Viagra, Dan had his first heart attack on the 4th day, and while he was in the hospital, he was treated by Michael Jackson's doctor, Conrad Murray, who coincidentally treated Dan's grandfather a year prior, where he passed away from a heart attack in the same hospital. 12 hours later, Dan had his second heart attack in the hospital, but luckily he survived, and after 2 weeks of recovery, he was as fit as always. Dan once invested $2,000 in his personal friend and fellow poker player, Jay Farber, nicknamed Panda, who finished second in the 2013 WSOP main event and scored $5.1 million, of which he gave Dan $1 million and a goat in return for his $2,000 investment. Dan said that he can't just have one goat, so he got a second, and now he's the proud owner of 2 goats, which he says are pretty awesome animals. I couldn't agree more, and come on, owning a goat would be awesome. No one can argue that Dan is very successful in playing poker and made a ton of money out of it, but he was rich long before that. There is a link between his wealth and his father, quite a controversial character. When you have the money to begin with, it is easier to make even more. You can invest it and make a fortune, and from that point, it all goes in circles. Dan wouldn't be what he is today without his talent to play poker. We give him that. He was able to go from broke to selling his guns and getting $750 that he later turned into $10,000, and in a single day went to Vegas and made $187,000. Quite impressive. But what is questionable about Dan's wealth is how clean was the money he first had. In the 90s, he did inherit some money from his dad. That wouldn't be such a big deal if his dad's wealth wasn't a huge problem back in the 90s and still is today. As new facts about his family's wealth appear, it gets even more confusing to understand where does Dan's money come from. His brother plays poker. Dan Bilzerian may only have cashed in one poker tournament, the 2009 main event, where he came 180th for $36,626. But there is one Bilzerian with a little more tournament success, Dan's brother Adam. Adam Bilzerian has won a total of $877,687, including a runner-up finish in a $25,000 entry area high roller event back in 2015 for $246,000. He also came 7th in a $100,000 entry super high roller at the Belgio back in the summer of 2014, making the final table in a tough field where players such as Jason Mercier, Tom Marchese, Jason Somerville, Doug Polk, and eventual winner Dan Smith outlasted him. He has 28.5 million Instagram followers. If you like guns, gadgets, and great weather, you're probably already a fan of Dan Bilzerian, which he himself bills as a Playboy lifestyle. Lifestyles of the rich and famous may be popular on Instagram, but it takes a lot of self-promotion to get to 28.5 million followers or a lot of great weather. Bilzerian once won a Fast and Furious style race. Back in 2011, Bilzerian took part in a high-speed car race at the wheel of a 1967 Cobra, taking on attorney Tom Goldstein, who was driving a Ferrari. Bilzerian crossed the line first, winning the pricey sum of $385,000 at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. He's had 2 heart attacks. As Oscar Wilde might have written in The Importance of Being Earnest if it were updated to include a character like Bilzerian, to have 1 heart attack before reaching the age of 30 may be regarded as a misfortune, but to have 2 looks like carelessness. Prompted by rumored drug use, Bilzerian's angry Arctic valves don't seem to have anything to slow him down, with his reputation for working out and pumping iron almost admirable. Maybe Wilde himself might approve. T-Pain wrote a song about him. Everyone has a desire to be immortalized in music, don't they? From desiring a loved one to compose the concerto in our name, being included in a rapper's smack-talking track, well, possibly. Movie cameos don't come for free. While Bilzerian has appeared in a handful of movies, his most controversial appearance to date was when he pitched up in Lone Survivor in 2014. Having invested in the movie to the apparent tune of $1 million, Bilzerian filmed around 8 minutes of screen time and 80 words of dialogue. However, his role was cut in the editing suite to just 1 line, the legend, "What's going on?" After the movie hit the silver screen, Bilzerian's reaction upon seeing his screen performances minimized to a mere 3 quizzical words obviously didn't sit well. This preempted a lawsuit from the bearded Bilzerian demanding $1.8 million until the film's budget of $40 million yielded a box office return of $154.8 million, meaning Bilzerian had a profit on his investment. The lawsuit, just like many of Bilzerian's lines in the movie itself, was dropped. He ran for president-ish. It was in June 2015 that Bilzerian announced that he would be running for president in 2016. He dropped that desire very quickly just a few months later, perhaps after a meeting with the actual incumbent-elect. He has been arrested for bomb-making. Bilzerian had led an explosive life, but nothing compares to his arrest in December of 2014 on bomb-making charges. Taken into custody at Los Angeles airport, Bilzerian was eventually forced to plead guilty to failing to extinguish a fire in the open. Fined just $17,231, the whole misdemeanor served as simply moderately expensive self-promotion with handcuffs thrown in. He was at the Las Vegas shooting. When the tragic events of October 1st, 2017 took place, Dan Bilzerian was in Las Vegas. The famous events of 64-year-old Stephen Paddock opening fire on concert-goers, killing 58 people, wounding 422, and with a total number of injured people topping 850, saw Bilzerian film himself fleeing the shooting, before apparently wanting to return to the crime scene before asking the police for a weapon. He failed at Navy SEAL training. While Dan Bilzerian clearly keeps himself in decent physical shape, he failed the Navy SEAL training program after several attempts at it, and according to some sources, this was due to a safety violation at the shooting range section of the program. A lover of guns, the American-Armenian weapons nut is often pictured shooting his latest pistol, shotgun, or rifle. Maybe 20 years after he first attempted, Bilzerian might reapply to be a Navy SEAL in 2020. His poker winnings are a mystery. While Bilzerian's tournament results are not exactly headline-making, his results in private cash games are a thing of mystery. Bilzerian himself claims to have won tens of millions in private gems, yet no evidence of these winnings has ever been proven. We've already imagined what might happen if Dan Bilzerian became a poker tournament grinder. But for now, Dan Bilzerian remains an internet phenomenon and a real-life Enjima, who may be a fascinating character capable of great achievement, but who may also be a complete figment of the public's imagination.